Evelyn had been mopping the same stretch of obsidian floor for 3 years. The Temple of the Forgotten, they called it, a massive structure that predated every known civilization in the galaxy, floating in the void between star systems like a monument to something no one could remember. The Galactic Preservation Society paid well. Humans, it turned out, were exceptional at menial labor, while other species found the work beneath them or spiritually disturbing. Humans like Evelyn saw it as honest work, good pay, quiet environment, and all the existential dread you could handle for free. Careful around the altar, Jackson called out from across the cathedral-sized chamber. He was replacing burnt-out glow panels near the ceiling, his maintenance rig humming softly. That section's been giving off weird readings again. Evelyn glanced at the massive stone slab at the room's center, covered in symbols that hurt to look at directly. It had been weird since the day she'd arrived. She dunked her mop back into the bucket. Weird how? Thermal spikes. Nothing major, but the floor shuddered. Evelyn's bucket tipped over, chemical-laced water spreading across the black stone. She grabbed for it instinctively, but froze when she saw the liquid flowing upward, defying gravity, snaking toward the altar in rivulets that glowed faintly blue. "Jackson," she said quietly, "you seeing this?" The maintenance rig descended rapidly. Jackson's face was pale behind his helmet. "I'm calling this," in the altar cracked. Not a small fracture, a massive split that ran from corner to corner, accompanied by a sound like a planet sighing. Light poured from the opening, not the harsh white of stars, but something older, deeper, colors that didn't have names. And then a voice, resonant and amused. Finally, Evelyn and Jackson stumbled backward as something rose from within the altar. It wasn't physical, not entirely. A presence more than a form, consciousness given shape through sheer force of will. The Galactic Preservation Society had always insisted the temple was merely archaeological, that whatever gods it honored were long dead. They'd been wrong. 13,000 years, the entity continued, its voice seeming to come from everywhere and nowhere. 13,000 years of accumulated grime, neglect, and cosmic dust. "Do you know how long I've waited for someone to actually clean this place?" Evelyn's mouth opened, closed, then opened again. "You're complaining about the cleaning? I'm thanking you." The presence swirled, and for a moment Evelyn could almost see a face ancient, tired, but smiling. Every other species that found this temple took one look and declared it too sacred or too cursed to disturb. They lit candles, left offerings, held ceremonies. Not one of them brought a mop. Jackson had his communicator out, fingers fumbling over the emergency protocols. The entity noticed. "Oh, put that away. If I wanted to destroy something, I wouldn't have waited 13 millennia." The presence drifted closer to Evelyn, examining her with what felt like genuine curiosity. "You're human. Interesting. The youngest species to reach the stars, and the first to treat a god's resting place like, what did you call this, a job? I mean, ... Evelyn gestured weakly with her mop. "It was dirty." The entity laughed, a sound like solar winds across nebula. "Exactly. Practical, straightforward, no mysticism, no reverence. You saw a floor that needed mopping, and you mopped it." The presence expanded, filling the chamber. "Do you know why I died? As your employers believe. Because my people became so obsessed with worship they forgot to live. Every action became ritual, every word a prayer. They stopped building, stopped exploring, stopped cleaning their own homes because they thought themselves above such things." Jackson lowered his communicator slowly. "So you just ... gave up." "I went to sleep, waiting for someone sensible to come along." The entity's attention shifted to the spilled cleaning solution, still glowing faintly. "Your chemicals are caustic to metaphysical residue, by the way. Brilliant choice. Completely unintentional, I'm sure, but brilliant nonetheless." Evelyn looked at her mop, then at the cosmic entity before her, then back at her mop. "I use the industrial stuff. Gets the tough stains." "It does indeed." The presence began to coalesce, taking on something resembling a physical form, tall, draped in what might have been robes or might have been folded space-time. "I have a proposition. I'm tired of sleeping. This universe has become cluttered with species that think too much and do too little. I could use representatives who understand the value of actual work." Jackson found his voice. "You want to hire us? I want to sponsor you. Your species shows promise you're too practical to be paralyzed by the cosmic horror of existence, too stubborn to accept that anything is truly impossible." The god's form solidified further, and now Evelyn could see eyes, ancient and amused. "Plus, you're the only ones who've ever cleaned my temple. That speaks to character." Evelyn leaned on her mop. 3 years of quiet work, of routine and simple satisfaction, suddenly pivoting into something incomprehensible. She should have been terrified. She should have been running. Instead, she asked, "Does it pay better than the Preservation Society?" The god's laughter shook the temple walls. "I like you. Yes, it pays better. You'll be my representatives to the wider galaxy, not priests, not prophets, representatives. Show them that the universe doesn't need more mysticism. It needs people willing to roll up their sleeves." Jackson and Evelyn exchanged glances. He shrugged. She shrugged back. "One condition," Evelyn said. "We finish our shifts first. I don't leave a job half-done." The god inclined its head, something like respect in the gesture. "Of course. I waited 13,000 years. I can wait another 4 hours." As Evelyn returned to mopping and Jackson climbed back into his maintenance rig, the ancient deity settled near the altar, watching with what seemed like contentment. For the first time in millennia, something in the universe made sense. Humans, it turned out, were very good at making gods remember why existence was worth the trouble.